Good morning again. I apologize for the camera that just decided to retire. Chair, we are ready to begin.
All right, I'm going to call our meeting to order. This is our regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors for July 14th, 2026. Do any supervisors have a moment of silence this morning?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead, Supervisor Sabatier.
So I haven't requested for approval to do this. I won't provide a last name, but I know that we lost a young gentleman by the name of Josh last week, very unexpectedly due to taking his own life. I did not know Josh very, very well. I had met him a few times. I know he was involved in the music scene locally. He worked in the trades. But I knew his family and I know his friends very well, and it's left a really gaping hole in the community and those that I know very well. I know that oftentimes I ask our sheriff, who happens to be in the room, what our numbers are for those that we've lost in our community and how we've lost them. And our suicide rates are never a low number. And so not only do I want to have a moment of silence for Josh and his family and his loved ones who care for him, because that is a really hard time to go through, but also to just express, I guess, the utter surprise of not knowing where somebody was mentally. And it's difficult. It's difficult to reach out. It's difficult to express it. But I know that there's a lot of places that you can call, a lot of people that you can go to. So today, not only I want to do a moment of silence, but also just kind of just a public service announcement of please reach out. You're not alone. There's help out there. Life is worth living. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Owen. Would you lead us in the pledge?
Ready, start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any extra items not listed on the agenda?
No, we do not, Chair.
Thank you. Move on to approval of consent agenda. Are there any supervisors that wish to pull any items from consent? Not hearing any. I'll go to the public. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to have us pull a consent item for later discussion? Not seeing any in the room. Any online, Johanna? What's that? No. Okay. Then I'll be ready for action on the approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve items 5.1 through 5.4 for the
Second.
consent agenda.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that carries 5-0. And I'm not seeing a pet of the week. Have we heard? Okay. I'm going to pass that item. And next, I'm going to go to our 905 item, which is presentation of a proclamation designating. Go ahead.
Chair, you may want to, we
Oh,
have
public-
6.1.
Yeah, I'm sorry, missed that. Public input. So this is for any items not appearing on the agenda today. Sorry about that.
Elaine Brown, Kelseyville. I was not planning to speak today because I thought the dog of the day would be here and I could speak to animal control. There's a large deer right before you turn into Kelseyville proper that's on the side of the road. I was going to tell them that. Also, I don't want 6-year-olds to drive into Lake County and being traumatized by seeing that. And just that made me realize another note I'd like to say. I wasn't planning on saying this today. There are still red lights all proliferating Cobb Mountain. And I've talked to this board before. I've talked to some of you individually. People said, it's not my jurisdiction. It's all our jurisdiction up here. And I don't want tourists who are my age and older to drive into one of the main gates of this county and go, what are all these red lights? Because we know what a red light district is. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the room? Not seeing any. Do we have anyone online? User 2, if you can identify yourself, you'll have 3 minutes. Sam, we need to make Johanna a co-host. User 2, if you could identify yourself, you'll have 3 minutes.
Guy Laywell, Pillsbury Family Farms, and I want to talk today about oversight. Somewhere along the way, the government forgot who it is supposed to oversee. Oversight isn't supposed to be over the people. It's supposed to be over the government itself. The public should not have to be watching every email, every meeting, every policy, wondering if something is being created behind closed doors before this board ever votes on it. That isn't how trust is built. If the county wants respect from the public, it has to respect the public first. Too often people walk into these county offices feeling like they're asking permission instead of receiving a public service. They leave here frustrated, confused, and exhausted. Not because they don't want to follow the rules, it's because they don't know what rules to follow anymore. The answer isn't more oversight of the public. If a government cannot clearly explain itself, it isn't serving the people. It's expecting the people to serve it. Every department should be asking itself one question. Have they made the process easier for the public to understand? If the answer is no, then something needs to change. Authority without accountability always grows. It never shrinks on its own. This board has every opportunity to change that culture. Start building departments that solve problems instead of creating them. Start building a government that explains instead of assumes. Start building a county where staff remember that every paycheck comes from the people sitting on the other side of the counter. Respect isn't demanded by the government, it's earned. And when the people begin to trust their government, oversight becomes a partnership instead of conflict. Mulaham.
Thank you. Zoom user, if you can identify yourself, you have 3 minutes.
Yes, my name is Sterling. I am just here. I want to let the community know that Relay for Life is back in Lake County. It's actually going to be May 22nd. Last night I did say the 27th, but it's actually May 22nd of 2027. We'll be at Lower Lake High School, and you can look them up on Facebook if you want to create a team and, you know, walk for Relay for Life and get the money raised for cancer patients. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, no more public comment. I'll close public comment. And we'll now move on to our 6.3 item 905, presentation of a proclamation designating the week of July 19th through 25th, 2026 as Probation Services Week in Lake County. And probation is welcome to join me up here.
I grease my wheels down here. So
It doesn't roll that much. How's it going, guys? Yes.
come on down.
Best spot. Except you are very vulnerable right now. Nobody's covering you up.
Oh, there we go. It's all good.
Hello.
Web enough. Web enough.
There's a lot of you.
Right here. Right. Nope. Right there.
them all?
Well, just about.
All right, this is a proclamation of the Board of Supervisors, the County of Lake, designating the week of July 19th through 25th, 2026 as Probation Services Week in Lake County. Whereas Lake County Probation promotes public safety by helping individuals ready to change to begin building a better path forward, while protecting communities from those who are not, uniquely combining accountability with rehabilitation. No other system does both, and whereas Lake County Probation serves as a key connector within the juvenile justice system and the community, maximizing the resources available through courts, local governments, law enforcement, social services, behavioral health providers, schools, crime survivor organizations, and nonprofit agencies. And whereas Lake County probation officers receive extensive training, 400 hours within their first 2 years of service, and at least 40 hours annually thereafter in areas including trauma-informed care, cognitive behavioral therapy, strength-based approaches, and emotional intelligence. This training enables probation professionals to manage the trauma and complex needs of offenders while safely connecting them to support and supervision necessary for successful reentry. And whereas Lake County Probation delivers multifaceted public safety model that combines supervision, accountability, and access to transformative rehabilitative services, offering a safe and effective alternative to incarceration. And whereas Lake County Probation works tirelessly every day for youth and families of Lake County through its work as school resource officers, partnering with agencies for child abuse prevention efforts, parenting strengthening, and promoting positive community norms. And whereas we recognize and commend the critical role of Lake County's probation professionals and celebrate Probation Services Week in honor of their ongoing dedication to justice, rehabilitation, and community safety. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed the Lake County Board of Supervisors designates July 19th through 2026 as Probation Services Week to highlight Lake County's probation's immense contributions for our community, passed and adopted this 14th day of July, 2026. Congratulations.
This is a department that gets things done and comes up with solutions for our county. And every one of these individuals, and the few that couldn't be with us here today, have huge hearts and know that change is possible for those that want to make a change in their life. And they will do whatever they can to help everyone that comes in contact with our department in figuring out a solution for their issues. So we're just so excited to be here again this year and hear a few stories from those that we work with. And I think James wanted to come up first and speak because he needs to get to his job.
So yes, I'm James Cook. I just wanted to come and say my piece and say thank you to my officer Yen, and I know a couple other faces here I recognize that have they've helped me truly. And they have always been good support. And you know what? The biggest thing is you guys have always been very friendly. Coming from, incarceration and having that kind of stigma that you hear while you're incarcerated, that all officers are kind of, trying to get you. They're trying to get you in trouble. That hasn't been the case for me. So it has been very much so a big opportunity for me to actually seize my own seize the day for myself, and my officer and other officers have been a big help and big support, and they've kept me in check when I needed to, and I'm very appreciative of all you guys in this department. Thank you.
Keep going, man.
I am James Amy's mother, Tammy Cook, and I too wanted to say thank you so much. Without the work that you guys have done, I would not have my son back at this point in time. Too many times I've had to face that fear that he was going to take his own life, that he was so far into his addiction that it created other problems for him. And it was only with Amy's help that we were able to pull him out of that. And he has now been at his job for almost a year, successfully completed rehab, which thanks to Amy, we were able to get him into. And I can't say enough. Thank you so much for giving me my baby back.
Good morning, jury and members of the board. My name is Anastasia Metters. I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to share my story. I've been on probation since I was about 13 or 14. Looking back, I know I made choices and mistakes that put me on a difficult path. I was in and out of juvenile hall, went through 3 rehab programs for drinking, 1 in Arizona, 1 in Oregon, and then got sent up to Montana and struggled with alcohol and making good decisions. There were times I didn't think things would change, but today I would say I am much a better person since I got out of juvenile hall last November. I have been staying out of trouble and trying to do good and focusing on my future. If everything goes well, I'm off in November. That's something I am proud of because it shows how far I've become. If I could say one thing to a young person who is in the same situation, I would say keep trying. It does get better, and change for yourself, not for others. My goal is to move to Oregon and become a tattoo artist. I want to say thank you to the people who never gave up on me. Thank you to my probation officer, Billy, for sticking it out with me, even when I made it difficult. And thank you for holding me accountable and believing in me when I didn't. I want to thank my mom for never giving up on me. And no matter how many mistakes I made and all the time she was in me in juvenile hall, she continued to love me and stand by my side and support me and encourage me to change and keep moving forward. I wouldn't be standing here without her. I know we didn't have the best mom and daughter relationship usually. She is my mom, and I am proud to say that. I'm not proud of every single decision I've made, but I am proud of the person who I'm becoming. My past doesn't have to define my future. I hope my story reminds others that people can change when they have support and the opportunity to keep trying.
Hi, I wrote a little something for you guys. Hi, I'm Richard Woida. I'm a grateful recovering addict alcoholic. First off, I just want to thank probation and the county for the opportunity to come up here and speak. My recovery date is 11/10/23, and hopefully I can share some of my experience, strength, and hope. As I look back and examine certain areas of my life, I can see where many times my mental health was affected, or where I should have reached out and asked for help. But going off what I knew at the time, which were things that were mentally and physically unhealthy, and I mean this as far back as I can see, were bad learned behaviors, the taking things not to feel, 0 social skills, the list goes on. And not having the tools I have today, it's easy for me to see how troubles would follow as a result. Where things really came to head for me was in 2020. I would go through a bad breakup that really hurt and affected me, but I didn't want you to know it, so I masked it with alcohol. But on the inside, I was trying to drown the sadness I felt at the time. While drowning in the sadness, COVID would hit, and within 2 months, my mom would get diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And with 0 coping skills, my alcoholism raged. I wanted to feel nothing, and it spiraled out of control. I tried to convince myself that it was one big nightmare, and if I got out of my head, it would all go away. But it didn't, and then it happened. She passed away. And I wasn't the son that she deserved for me to be. I wasn't the friend or family member that I should have been. I hated myself even more and dove harder into my addictive behaviors. of all of it left me being unhoused in the middle of a pandemic. A few months would go by. My grandfather also got sick and passed away. And at that point, I felt shattered and lost, and I started using drugs heavily, and I started drinking to the point where if I woke up tomorrow, it didn't matter. I would even pray on it, and several times it almost came true. For several years, being on the streets, my mental health completely collapsed, and I can sit and tell endless stories of the bad things that happened to me while on the streets, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to say that I wasn't okay, and it wasn't okay for me to become a liar, a cheat, and a thief, to become untrustworthy to my community, family, and friends, and for that I'm sorry. My life was spiraling to the point where I wasn't going to be here much longer. It was clear I needed help, that was obvious, but what it really came down to was truly wanting it, and it's sad because deep down I truly did, but wasn't sure how or what that looked like, or if it was even possible. I knew deep down getting arrested would be the only way, and thank God I was. During my court process, while on the streets, I stumbled into an AA meeting on complete accident. They gave me a big book and told me to keep coming back, and I hadn't heard that in a while, so I camped outside the meetings. They gave me advice to move into the shelter, that it's what you make of it, to go in there not to make friends, but to use the bed for sleep, and to go there in the meetings during the morning. So I did. I started reading the book, the big book they gave me, and I was surprised to find similarities and stories that related to mine, or at least the way I felt. And for the first time in a while, in those meetings, I felt at home. Eventually, it was suggested to me to get a sponsor, not just anyone, someone who knows the book and the program, and thank God I did. He is my best friend to this day. We worked the 12 steps while I was in the shelter. While at the meetings, I learned to become of service, and I brought that back to the shelter where I would mop the floors, take out the trash, clean the restrooms, help serve food, mentor, and sponsor other people in the shelter as I was trying to learn how to redo things myself. Months would go by, and while going to the meetings and reading, I would learn a lot about the truth of alcoholism and drug-addicted brain, and how it would take 18 months for the brain to clear and not to make any big decisions within the first year. But that wasn't optional. I had court and life-altering decisions that had to be made. I began to feel the sense of wanting to escape, so I called my sponsor, got honest, and headed to court and was offered probation, which at the time was hard to see, turned out to be a blessing. No matter how bad things got, I had found something special in my newfound recovery. And with that, I moved forward while continuing to work the steps and mentoring those around me. I started secretarying meetings, NA and AA. I started making amends to the people and the businesses within whom I may have affected. And to my surprise, a lot responded very well and were very happy for me and accepted my apology. I think the hardest thing for me is the amends that I can't make, but I know God knows if I could, I would. So I have since learned that they are in my heart and to do the best I can each day with what I got. I started working side jobs that my sponsor in the rooms would help me find. They advised me to go to a transitional living shelter, and I did. I kept working and saving and bought a car and joined the build construction program and went back to school. After finishing the schooling and graduating the program, I landed a good local job in the area and moved out of the shelter. But sadly, both were short-lived and didn't work out, but I did. So I started working 2 jobs and found another place to live. My faith and reliance in a loving God grew stronger, and eventually my hard work paid off. And I found my career path in construction as an electrician's apprentice, building low-income housing throughout California. I have been able to travel a lot and see life and things in a whole new light. I am grateful that today I have guidance, direction, purpose. I'm grateful to have new loving friends throughout the community with this second chance that I have been given. I truly feel blessed. And to anyone out there struggling or feeling beaten, broken, and lost, just know that if I can do this, so can you. It's not going to be easy, but worthwhile things in life don't come easy. Find an outlet, find forgiveness in yourself and with others. Find a sponsor, a life coach, a therapist, someone you can trust to help you identify some of the things in life we might be holding on to that we shouldn't be. Be honest, do the work, be honest with yourself and with God, and your life too can change as a result. And remember that no matter what, God loves you and so do I. Once again, I would like to thank Eva, Zach, Felipe, and Dee from probation for showing me kindness, honesty, and direction during some tough times. The respect was mutual. We always parted with handshakes and smiles. Probation has been something I learned to value in my recovery. A lot of love and respect. I also want to thank the men and women working at the shelters for making warm food and a bed to get much needed rest and kindness along the way. To the Build program and the college who helped show me the tools I still use today, and the businesses and employers who took me on, thank you. I thank God for my friends in recovery, AA and NA, the Big Book, the 12 Steps, my sponsees, and my sponsor, Jake. I love you with all my heart. To the county, once again, thank you. And to the community, we got this together, one day at a time. God bless.
Board members? Go ahead, Vice Chair.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you. You're all in the front lines, but through these stories that we hear today and in the past, it's always your empathy, your care, your respect, but also holding the line for accountability. And I think that is the best combination that you all demonstrate every day for looking out for those in our community that really want to change, to be on a better path, and the support for their families. And I can't be more excited that you have the Build program too now, where you can offer a work path and training path to a better life. So thank you deeply to all of you.
Thank you.
Say something.
Supervisor Crandall?
Yes. Just wanted to highlight something. Appreciate all the work that's been done. I'm glad we're honoring you this week. But I also wanted to highlight the stories and the work that the people you work with put into it. What separates your work from when it comes to corrections or going into the jail facility is that's a sentence term. And a lot of people that I've worked with them as well. I was working in education and social working and things. And a lot of times people come out thinking that it's a sentence. All they have to do is serve that time and finish. And then most of the time you see recidivism. So it's good to see these stories because it shows people that truly want to take the time to do the work, and they know they have to put in extra aside from just serving that time. And so I just wanted to commend you all for doing that work, and I wanted to commend you all who came up and told your story and for doing that work and putting yourself out there, because it's more than just doing the time or spending the time on that. It's actually putting in the work to do better, and you all are doing that.
Thank you. Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, appreciate all the work that you guys do. I've said it before, there's definitely been a change in the way probation engages with our community, and I love what I'm seeing, and you guys are giving people second chances and to second chances. Love it.
Thank you. Supervisor Owen?
Yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you as well from the community. It's really nice to see that you are affecting lives in a positive, and that we were able today to see some end results where it has changed people's lives, and that's huge because that's not happening often enough. But you guys are making the difference on the front lines, so thank you so much.
Thank you. And likewise, I appreciate all the work that all of you folks are doing to help folks, as we heard today. That's amazing, and appreciate you being out in the community. I don't think there's any event I go to that I don't see probation there interacting, so that's appreciated. Anybody in the public have comments? Not seeing any online? No hands, then I think we're ready for a picture.
I was trying to get your attention when you're coming up.
Found a new spot to trap shoot. It's never gonna happen again.
You guys can come to my place and do it. It actually helps keep the predators away from my goats and sheep.
I'm all in.
I just don't like being on the receiving end of it.
We weren't even thinking about that shit, Alan. I mean, everybody felt so bad.
Good job, Amy.
All right, I'm going to call our 910 item. Sitting as the Board of Directors of the Kelseyville County Waterworks District Number 3. Consideration of resolution designating a member of the County of Lake Board of Supervisors to serve as the representative member on the Board of Directors of the Lake County Sanitation District, Lake Osan. And this is brought by Supervisors Owen, Sabatier, and the Administrative Office and County Council. Who's going to start this out?
I can go ahead and provide a brief summary. So there have been negotiations between the city of Clear Lake and the county due to the fact that the city has taken interest in taking on a seat on Lake Osan. The next item we will discuss the specifics of what that might look like, but in the recomposition of the new board that is anticipated, there is a need for us to pass a resolution that would delegate the Kelseyville County Waterworks District Number 3 seat to the County Board of Supervisors. And I'll explain, I guess, a little bit further as to how all that worked out to be for the next item, but that is the brief summary for this 910 item.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Owen, did you want to, administrative staff? Nothing? Okay.
And if I just may add, today's just a delegation of the seat. It is not an appointment to that seat. That will come later.
Okay. All right. Any discussion by the board? Not hearing any, we'll open it up to the public. Do we have anyone in the room? If you could state your name, you'll have 3 minutes.
Cindy Stores, I live in Spring Valley. I am curious about this document that was attached as information for the agenda. There is no vote count and there is no signature from the Kelseyville board. If someone could speak to that.
Supervisor Sabatier, thank you.
So the Board of Supervisors, it's kind of an awkward situation. The Board of Supervisors are the board for the Kelseyville County Waterworks, but we are not part of Lake Osan. Lake Osan is now going to have a seat where Kelseyville County Waterworks can be there. And so we are saying that the County Board of Supervisors, not the Kelseyville County Waterworks, which is us, both sides, are delegating it to the Board of Supervisors. So eventually it's the same body. We're just, for purposes of paperwork, trying to simplify everything and saying that the Board of Supervisors will represent Kelseyville County Waterworks, which the Board of Supervisors already represents Kelseyville County Waterworks. So that's why there's no signature, because we are that board and we are signing that document.
It's just a formality.
There's no vote, there's no signature on
So we are sitting right here, right.
I can have a board, bring this much
So
information.
we are sitting right now at this very moment as the Kelseyville County Waterworks District Number 3.
So one of you
We-
is gonna,
we
one
are-
of you is
we
gonna
are-
sign
we-
this and you are gonna vote.
I'd like to finish, please. We are going to vote as the Kelseyville County Waterworks District to delegate our vote to ourselves as the County Board of Supervisors, so that that seat is a County Board of Supervisors seat, not a Kelseyville County Waterworks. It's a formality for the sake of the new composition of Lake Kosan.
The vote is coming.
There's no signatures because we have not voted. We are doing that currently today, right now, as we speak.
And nobody else thinks this is odd?
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the room? Not seeing any. Do we have anyone online, Johanna? No hands. I'll close public comment and bring it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chair, I offer the resolution.
The resolution's been offered.
Supervisor Owen.
Aye.
I guess you guys are directors. Director Owen.
Aye.
Director Sabatier.
Aye.
Director Crandall.
Aye.
Director Pyska.
Yes.
And Director Rasmussen.
Aye. That carries 5-0. And we're going to move on to our 6.5 item, 9.15 item, now setting as the Lake County Sanitation District Board of Directors, consideration of resolution of intent of the Lake County Sanitation District to establish an interim composition of the governing board of the Lake County Sanitation District pursuant to Health and Safety Code, Section 4730, again brought by Supervisors Owen, Sabatier, Administrative Office and County Council. Did you want to start again?
Sure, and I'd like to also ask for County Council to please add anything that I may miss or correct anything that may be improper. Again, just to start over, I guess I'll start in 1983, prior to 1983. When Lake Kosan was created, the Lake County Board of Supervisors became the board of directors for the Lake County Sanitation District, because there was no city of Clear Lake at the time, and everywhere else was in the unincorporated areas where there was sewer districts. In 1983, post the city of Clear Lake incorporating, they delegated their seats to the Board of Supervisors. Therefore, state code allowed for the Board of Supervisors to continue as that board of directors. In 2024, the city of Clear Lake requested discussions to look at the governance, eventually rescinding their 1983 resolution. Within the state code, there is a place where the city can get a seat, the county can get a seat, and all other public sewer districts also have the right to a seat. Right now, Hidden Valley is still a sewer district that is within the boundaries of Lake Coast Sanitation District, but not a part of Lake County Sanitation District. They are their own. And we have a letter here from the Hidden Valley Community Service District providing a letter that states that they would like to delegate their seat to a non-county entity such as the city of Clear Lake. Then there is another entity, which is the Kelseyville County Waterworks District Number 3, which is not a part of the Lake County Sanitation District, who also provides sewer, therefore meets the state code, and that, just as we did in the prior action, has been delegated to the County Board of Supervisors, which gives now 2 seats to the county and 2 seats to the city of Clear Lake. And the state code does not allow for an even number of members. Therefore, there is a 5th member that will be a public at-large member, which right now will be vacant until further notice. When the board is approved and newly composed, they will make that decision on choosing from applications. The action and so we've had long discussions with the city of Clear Lake. This is what we're coming back with based on our review and interpretation of state code, that this is a way for us to be able to move forward. This is seen as an interim governance in the sense that there is a request for LAFCO to do a reorganization of the Lake Coast Sanitation District, Lake County Sanitation District. We're not sure on the timeline on what that will take. It could be less than a year, could be a little bit more than a year. We'll find out based on LAFCO's approach to that. Within the action that is being requested of this board or the directors of this board, there is a conditional that there is a resolution that is on the agenda for the city of Clear Lake on Thursday, July 16th. And that action, if taken in the positive, as if they approve the resolution, then we would also move forward with the resolution that is being considered here today. So the action would be to approve and agree to the resolution with the condition that the city of Clear Lake also approve on their resolution that is on their agenda. That has been reviewed. I know I sent it out to county council and admin. I reviewed it myself. I'll let them speak to that. And the final thing is, it's not in the memo, and I apologize, and it's not a major surprise, but I would like to give direction to staff to maybe open up for collecting applications so that as soon as possible, when this board is newly composed, they can take action to bring in that fifth member, because that fifth member is going to be important in order not to have a 2-to-2 type of vote potential where things don't move forward. And so I would like to open up applications, receive applications, and hold on to them until this new board is composed. And please fill in any gaps or any changes that I hope I said everything correctly.
Go ahead, County Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So nothing more to add aside from with what's before your board, in addition to Supervisors Batier's proposed direction, which can be approved by consensus, that what's before your board would be this adoption of the resolution of intent. And with your board's adoption of that, should your board choose to adopt that this resolution, that with the conditional that in the anticipated July 16 meeting with the City of Clear Lake, if the City of Clear Lake adopts the resolution that's on the pertinent resolution that's on their agenda, that then triggers under the Health and Safety Code the 30-day public commenting period for a public hearing. I believe that's to be scheduled on August 16th. That's within the 30-day that's the 30-day provision under the Health and Safety Code. So again, what's before your board is the resolution of intent. If things go as planned, 30 days from July 16th, that would be August 16th, to receive any protests, objections, comments from the public for a public hearing to take place on August 16th. And that's where staff anticipates the appointments, the specific appointments would be made.
Thank you. Any questions from board members? And so let me check in on the with the request for direction. That would be for county administration to advertise and collect apps and then turn them over to the new board once it's been finalized after the public hearing.
That is the request, yes.
Okay. All right. And I guess so I'll open it up to the public. Do we have anyone in the room that wishes to speak right now? No? Yeah, go ahead and come forward and state your name. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hi there, my name is Helen Mitchum. I'm from Spring Valley, so I had not intended to say anything today, so this is all up here. But it seems odd to me that as a sitting board, you can appoint yourself to another sitting board, and you can make the new board configuration any way you like. And my concern is you've got 2 people from the City of Clear Lake, 2 from the Board of Supervisors, and you're going to have 1 appointment at large, a member at large. So you got 2 government agencies. Is this going to be a person or another agency that's going to represent those of us who live in the unincorporated area who would be majorly affected by any shift to what's going on for our services in Spring Valley. That's my only concern.
Thank you. Go ahead, Supervisor Sabatier.
I can easily respond to that. Spring Valley CS2 is not connected with Lake County Sanitation District. This is solely a Lake County Sanitation District Board of Directors. We are following state law, at least based on our interpretation between both the City of Clear Lake and the County of Lake. So the way that we went to 5, if you follow California Health and Safety Code 4730 to 4732, you will find the code within that that dictates how it is that you can reach what we have reached. And again, there will be no connection. The Board of Supervisors, CSA number 2 in Spring Valley, is separate from this conversation. This is solely for the sewer districts, which includes Middletown, Anderson Springs, Southeast, Northwest, Land's End, and North and South Lakeport, I believe, are the 5, if I did not miss one.
Reeves Point, Land's End, South Lakeport, North Lakeport.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hopefully that helps to answer that question or those comments.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the room? Not seeing any. Do we have anyone online?
I am online. Patrick Sullivan, Treasury Tax Collector.
Go ahead.
All right, so I did want to share some information on this, just for your board's awareness. The Treasury Tax Collector and Auditor Controller offices, we've been scrambling on this since we found it on the agenda Thursday night. The timing for us was unexpected, so we are trying to work on a short clock here. Just want to be clear, when a district shares substantially the same governing board, like the Air Quality District or Lake of San, it is considered to be a subordinate or component department of the county, which matters for financial reporting and the way that we process transactions. When the board structure changes as proposed, it is essentially taking Lake San independent. There's now a host of issues that we need to resolve before the August 16th deadline. Just for your information, even something as straightforward as cutting a check is going to require some restructuring. I'm assuming the Sand District is going to contract with the county to use county employees to run these facilities in whatever interim period this is. In order to keep operations in motion, the district and board of supervisors will need to pass appropriate resolutions to ensure business continuity. This goes for everything from payroll, purchasing, accounts payable, all of it. It's going to require some restructuring for our financial reporting. We're going to have to make some adjustments on the fly because we're trying to launch Workday right now, and we didn't really build it out this way. Another major concern we have is ensuring debt financing and the county's credit rating are not adversely impacted by this. We've met with our municipal advisor and bond counsel yesterday, and we're currently working on the needed resolutions to address this. I'd just say there are many different moving pieces here that have to be carefully managed. I think the critical question is, is it possible to get this all done by August 16th? Maybe. I'm not sure, but we're certainly working towards that. But just to highlight, this is a major undertaking. We're doing our best to identify the issues and make sure that no irreversible harm occurs before the 16th. There are many housekeeping items that will need to be covered. And again, we've only been at this for a few days, so we're still working through it. The things I've mentioned are pertinent to the finance offices. Obviously, there's a host of other issues that would need to be solved by then. And just to highlight, at the end of the day, our office serves as a treasurer for both the county and Lake San. Either way, we're in this to the end. It's all one bank account. We will operate both, however it's structured. We just need to make sure that we can get through this interim period without causing any damage. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Zoom user, if you can identify yourself, you'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, my name is Sterling. So I'm just going to ask you guys if you guys can slow down on this. I was reviewing through the documents that you guys put on there, and you guys are using the California Health Code and Safety. I just want to know where in that code it states that Hidden Valley can give their spot to a city council member, By what I read and seen in that code, it states it can only be a county member. So I would suggest maybe looking into that, or you guys can answer that. Also, I reviewed the public available Hidden Valley Lake Community Services District Board agenda from January through July this year. I could not find an agenda item where Hidden Valley publicly voted to delegate the representation that appears to be part of this proposal. If that happened, it did occur, I would prefer to maybe see that. You have many members of this community that's been asking for transparency. Also, it would affect Spring Valley because they use that as a station to hold the equipment that comes here. So if an emergency was to happen and it was in the middle of the night, we would have to wait for them to come all the way from Lakeport instead of right there from Clear Lake. So it does affect us as a community out here. I understand it's not part of the Lake COSAN, but it does affect us, and it probably will make our rates go up out here. My other concern is that we're rushing through this. EGX is proposing that 100 megawatt on there. What is that going to do for the county if the board is going to have 2 board members and then proposing 2 city council members, and then you have 2 of the board members that propose this? Is it going to be those 2 that propose this on the agenda? Because then now that makes that actually a 3-2 vote, and it still wouldn't be fair. So before we start taking actions and rushing into something, we really need to look at the terms and the conditions. We are already paying a gentleman $60,000, NDAs signed. Our county doesn't need any more of this. We just need to be transparent. We need to move forward correctly. We need to set the table before we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Diana Mann, go ahead. You'll have 3 minutes. Diana, are you there? Do we have anyone else after her? No? Diana, one last call. Are you able to hear us and speak? Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment then and bring it back to the board. Supervisor Owen.
To be honest, when this first came up, I had the same concerns that many of you have expressed. I wanted to make sure that everything was fair and that everybody was represented. And it's not a lack of transparency. We've been transparent. It's just that some of this had to take place in closed session, and it's now coming forward. But we've been working on this for a while. Back, I think it was December. Was it December, Alan, that you guys had sent the letter withdrawing? November. So November of 2025, the city of Clear Lake withdrew their, what would it be called?
The delegation to their.
The delegation of their seat, to the Lake OSAN board. So they forced our hand. The restructuring is not really an option. So we've been working on this for several months, but because of the negotiations and they wanted to have the largest say, the county wanted to have the largest say, we wanted to have more people than them, they wanted to have more people than us. So there was a negotiation, and we finally came up with a solution. But the reason I wasn't on board at first was because I wanted to make sure that everybody had representation. And I think that we have reached that in these negotiations. I feel good about it. The person that is chosen shouldn't be with the county, it shouldn't be with the city of Clear Lake. It needs to be somebody that's chosen that's in the rest of Lake OSAN, that's represented. And then if need be, we will put them on the ballot. It's just we didn't get it done in time to be able to put it on the ballot for this year, where that person is actually elected. So it looks like it's going to be short term that this board, and then it will come back to or the city of Clear Lake would like to break free and form their own. And once that happens, we will be back to serving as the board of Lake Ocean. So, but it has been negotiations. We have not been rushing into it by no means. It's just that we had to do a lot of it in closed sessions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Supervisor. Go ahead, Supervisor Crandall.
I know there was a concern about the structure having, in essence, a majority of interest in one area. I think that was the comment that was made. Right now, we're not choosing that structure or who they are as of yet. We'll be talking about that at a later date, right? The other thing I wanted to mention too is that right now, currently, it's us five as Lake Ocean or Lake Ocean, and because of what Supervisor Owen had mentioned, we're ensuring that there is an equal amount of representation because of the inquiry and because of the move that was made. So we're choosing, but we're at the same time we're not like dictating, if that makes any sense. I think that was the worry, and I hear it. I think it's one of those things too. When Supervisor Owen mentioned that we were in closed session, whenever there's a situation that we are in a potential litigation, a lot of times we go into closed session. So it's not as if we were having this discussion to try to, to suppress it or anything. That was just that's the way. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lloyd. I just wanted to make sure, because a lot of times, I mean, that's all I've been hearing, and what we always are going to hear is about transparency. But I have to note that so that people know that this isn't something that's just being suppressed or anything like that or done behind closed doors. There's a reason why we had to.
Yeah, there was a legal issue, and where we had to take action, and because of the legal issue, we were required to do it in closed session. So.
All right. Anything else from the board? Not seeing any, and we'd be ready for action.
Mr. Chair, I offer the resolution with the condition of the resolution moves forward after the approval of the Clear Lake City Council resolution regarding Lake Coast Sand that is currently on their agenda for consideration on July 16th. And maybe County Council wants to correct that a little bit.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair. So yes, that is correct. I just would like to add that the City of Clear Lake's resolution that's referenced in the motion language would be City of Clear Lake Resolution number 2025-42.
The resolution's been offered.
Director Owen? Aye. Director Sabatier?
Aye.
Director Crandall?
Yes.
Director Pyska?
Yes.
And Director Rasmussen?
Aye. And that carries 5-0. And then I believe we did have direction. I didn't hear any opposition to the directing admin to advertise immediately and collect applications to be later turned over to the new Lake Ocean board once it's established.
Are we going to be able to we need to also work with Patrick Sullivan to make sure that all that can be.
Go ahead.
And just to speak to that, I spoke with Mr. Sullivan yesterday, our treasurer tax collector, also spoke with admin, and I know they had a conversation with county council. I believe there are not simple solutions, but easy to get to solutions in the interim to make sure that there is continuity of business. It shouldn't be too difficult to make some of those things happen. There may be some internal things from the tax collector that are a little bit more difficult than just a simple resolution, but I've offered to help wherever it is that I can to make sure that that is not what occurs, so that by August 16th we will be ready to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that will conclude that item. And we'll move on to our...
Do we want to do our morning break? Or?
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and take a break. All right, I'm going to call our meeting back to order, and we're going to handle our 6.6 9:30 a.m. item, consideration of whether to initiate the formal park renaming process pursuant to county policy for the existing Middletown Square Park. And Supervisor Owen sponsored this. Do you want to make any initial comments?
I'm just opening it up, so I'm a little bit behind. Yeah, I had, years ago, when the park was put together, and it was built primarily by volunteers. And Linda has done the research, and they had voted the math, since it had never been officially, a name had never been officially chosen by the people of Middletown. Some of them really didn't like the name Square Park. There was a big conversation, and it went back and forth for a while. They eventually voted on Gateway Park, and it was chosen by the math board, the Middletown Area Plan, or, yeah. They chose the name Gateway Park, and the significance and reasons behind that, I'm gonna allow Linda to cover, and that's it.
Okay, Director Ewing, did you want to provide?
Or I can, I'll just add a few things. Just to address the procedural policy here, the county does have a park naming policy, and that includes renaming. And so the reason for coming to your board for direction is that ultimately the authority to name or rename is, does lie with your board, but the process does spell out a noticing period, a public comment period, and prior to county staff doing the intent to going through the process with an intent, or at least an implied intent to rename a park. This request came from math, as I understand, came from math. And so prior to simply taking that step of going through a public noticing period and coming to your board with a recommendation one way or the other, I felt that it was important to just ensure that your board was aware of a request to rename, because the way that the policy is written, essentially anyone can submit in writing a request to rename, and it does present some opportunities for cleanup with the policy. But as it stands now, your board is ultimately the authority to do that. We're not to that point now. We have not done the public noticing. We have not done any advertisements in papers. But we're here to get recommendation or direction from your board. And should your board recommend that, we can move forward. So wanted to just address that. I'll also add the policy does give it gives preference to keeping existing names, is the way the policy is written for various reasons. The policy addresses both streets, buildings, parks, but it does, barring some other driving reason, keeping the existing name is certainly the preference.
Thank you, Director. Vice Chair Pyska.
Yeah, so looking for direction to do that county outreach, if that's the avenue that we want to go down. I know with a lot of the, parks belong to the communities, and so getting the community vision is so important. And we've done a lot around the county and all the parks, and I know in Kelseyville, and both for the Cobb Park, there was a couple of years of tabling at events. And so I'm just wondering, I understand that the math has had these discussions, but it's a larger conversation with the whole community. So would there also be, potentially staff tabling at the farmer's market? Or how do you reach the people that are using the park and that are in the community so that you can get their, do a poll or get their input?
Yeah, I would suggest that it's essentially what you just said. There's many different avenues to solicit input from the public. Public services prior to public works, but county staff has over the last 10 years or so done a good number of outreach for different parks, getting input on what they might want to see for improvements at existing parks, or development of a new property that is not a current park. We have yet to take anything to the public specific to renaming and only renaming. but it's something that we could certainly do to get input from the public through a variety of different sources. It can be online surveys. It should be a variety of them: online surveys, meetings, et cetera, et cetera. The policy does not really address that. The policy simply says 30-day public notice, provide public comment, and then take it to your board. But there's certainly an opportunity to solicit that input from the public at large.
And what type of, how many like hours, staff resources, what would be the cost of all that?
Hazarding a guess, we'd probably be talking somewhere in the range of 40 hours or so. I would expect if we're typical for park improvements, you're going to have no less than five meetings. So I'm just kind of spitballing here, to be quite honest, but it's right around 40, I would think.
And there's conversations about a second park in town. Is there any way to combine that outreach?
We certainly could, yeah.
And that way staff is still getting out there and having the conversations with the people, and maybe we're be more efficient with the hours.
Yes, in fact, sorry to interrupt you, but in fact, we just finished from Middletown High School and the junior high a design your own park. We went to the schools and we had a design your own park setting, and that was just right before school got out of session. So it's a good opportunity to take what we have from that outreach and combine this with broader Middletown. Obviously, that's not necessarily a part of what is addressed here in this memo, but that would be a good opportunity.
Yeah, and I apologize if I didn't hear my one of my other questions about additional costs. I understand the 40 hours of staff time, which would be absorbed, but do we have an idea of what other costs there would be?
I would say they would be relatively nominal. The policy does state that any costs are to be borne by the requestor. So it would be advertising in the paper, for example. I don't think we're talking extreme. We don't have, and I apologize, I didn't check this. I don't believe we have a sign that says Middletown Square. It's just been kind of organically over time named that. Talking with our parks maintenance staff, it doesn't matter what it's named; they're still going to maintain it. They know where it is. So it's it's not so much that. It's also not as impactful as, to be quite honest, a street where you have addressing and such. So it's somewhere in between a formal street name and a commemorative type of name. So I think your board certainly has the authority, and we have some opportunity for latitude there with respect to impacts. I think it's cost-wise, to answer that, though, is pretty nominal.
Okay. And with it being borne by the requester, since Math is an appointee of the county, I'm assuming that would be the county, but not sure. The only other concern I had, and I realize we have this policy that we go through a structured process, but I was just curious how much, because I didn't see anything in the Math request. It was a short request that we voted to do this, but curious as to how many community members showed up and were involved in listening to any discussions on that. I don't know if we know, but it was just a question I had.
You could check with actually Thomas would have it in the archives. However, I know it came up a number of times. I think it started a year or so ago. And one of the issues is not having a sign at the park. For instance, some people don't know the name of the park. Others, right now, they have the farmer's market there, and it has it listed on the big banner as Gateway Park. Library Park, I'm sorry. Library Park. So there's different names that are being associated with the park, so we wanted to do an official naming, and so that's where it came from. But over the past year, it's probably come up at Math meetings probably half a dozen times.
Okay, thank you. We'll get to you in a second. Is there any other questions from board members? Go ahead, Supervisor Sabatier.
I will shamelessly admit that I had no idea it was called Middletown Square Park. To me, it was where the library was and the park in Middletown. I know Trailside, I know the pool, the tennis courts. I don't know if there's a specific name for that one, but I just it's not blatantly obvious, in my opinion, publicly, that that is the name. It's also not a square, but maybe that was a metaphor for the town square. Just to make sure, it would be the park area only, or does it include the senior center / library involved in where the renaming would be?
Well, and that's a very good point, and what I was going to comment on with respect to I guess lack of transparency or lack of awareness of the name of that park. That's common, at least in Lake County it is for our park system, when really the bedrock of the location is the building and not the grounds upon which the building lies. So 2 examples, one that we're talking about here, the other is right across the street at the historic Courthouse Museum, and the quote-unquote park that we have there that we call Museum Park, but really it's the front yard of the courthouse, and in this case, is this the front yard of the library and the senior center. I mean, we make it a park-like setting. The county has historically, it's not anything new. This has been developed to have a park-like setting. So to name it something specific, nothing wrong with it, but I'll be quite honest, even at the staff level, it's not known as, the park itself is not the attraction in a sense. It's been the building, but in this case, and for that matter, Museum Square here in Lakeport, the park itself is used like a park. So because it's been improved, it becomes an attraction in and of itself. So I think there's a lot of value in providing a name. I will say that the term gateway has come up in other areas of the county. Gate obviously not Middletown, but gateway itself has been used. It's used in many different areas. There's been discussion of that in the North Shore for the gateway to the National Monument there. So I just wanted to offer that connecting Middletown certainly is key there. It shouldn't be, in my opinion, Gateway Park, because that implies the gateway to what? But Middletown Gateway Park, obviously I'll be agnostic here and defer to your board, and prior to that, defer to the input from the public.
So, and I appreciate all of that. Just want to make sure if we approve moving forward with the renaming, it would be renaming the entirety of the public facilities that are there.
And I'm sorry I didn't answer your question. I would suggest that it would rename the grounds and not the building. We have not reached out to the county librarian nor the senior center board, so I would suggest that it would be the park proper, or the grounds upon which it lies.
Just wanted to make sure and check in, because I see it as 2 separate things, but it really does complement one another when you utilize the facilities. Lastly is, I mean, I really wasn't thinking about cost, because I didn't see this, especially since there's no sign that needs to be changed or anything, that it was going to be a massive cost. Doesn't Quimby kind of possibly meet that potential, and there's funds that are held in the Quimby budget? Would that be available for that?
Yes, yeah, Quimby Park improvement fees, if as long as it's an improvement to a park and not simple maintenance, that would be eligible. I don't have at my fingertips the funding that we have for Quimby for that general area, but I'm going off a recollection. I think we would have enough for a sign there, and I don't know that would necessarily be a part of the renaming cost. To me, that's a part of park improvement costs that the county would bear. The renaming process would as far as a cost to be borne by a requester, which if it's the county anyways as math, then maybe it's a moot point. But I wouldn't necessarily connect that to a requisite that we include a sign. But I think that should occur. So otherwise, we run into the same issue that we have right now, where we don't know the name of the park.
All right, any other board questions? Go ahead, Supervisor.
I think it's always good to do, a refresh or update, or get everybody on the same page with whatever, facility, whatever lands or grounds needs to be determined as. And so I do think this is the perfect discussion at the math. I think because I have some municipal advisory committees and they talk about specific things. But one thing that happens at these is they could talk about it for a year, 2, maybe even 3 years, and a lot of the public won't hear about it, or they aren't attending. But I think you satisfy that by the notice of intent and the 38-day public review, in doing that work that is mentioned. So I only highlight that because I've seen these type of things before where they're like, I didn't know, and they're like, they talked about it for the past year or two in these, but a lot of people don't go to the town halls. But it is the perfect place to start the discussion, and I think that's why we're on the right track to do this. I like seeing the follow-up potential direction. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, go ahead and open it to the public, and Linda's going to be first because yes.
Can I answer a question when you guys were talking about how did it get named that?
Yeah.
Because it's not in this, and I don't want to use it in my 3
Okay,
minutes. Can I
go
do
ahead
that?
and briefly answer that, and then
I will. So everybody referred to the park as Central Park in Middletown. When this was proposed, it was getting confusing. And so that's what happened. They temporarily named it Square Park to delineate between Central Park, which is the park that Middletown always said, the park. They couldn't say Downtown Park because there's a pool and there's a playground in Middletown, and that would have caused confusion. So that's how that happened. I just wanted to share that.
Okay, thank you.
I hadn't planned on talking about that, so I'm not sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to talk really fast. That's why I gave you those so you can follow.
And
My
we
name
did
is-
receive the email, so thank you.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Linda Deal Darms, and I was one of the community members that created Middletown Area Town Hall Math. December 2006, Math became a MAC. Please consider voting in favor of renaming the park based on a vote at Math in May and the following history. In September 2011, ground was broken by Lake County for the complex that would house the Middletown Senior Center, library, and conference rooms. At the same time, Math was making plans with county reps regarding the park. Math designed the park, and it was approved by the county. A great majority of the work that created the park was done through community donations and community volunteers, and included the following. The on-site well needed to be reestablished and updated, and a stone building was erected to house the well. The sprinkler system was trenched, piping purchased and installed, and forming up the sidewalks and center area, having cement brought in and concrete finished and sidewalks stamped. My husband and I provided lunch and drinks on several occasions for the volunteers. The county installed and paid for the fencing, grass, gazebo, and outdoor restroom, just installed in the last few years. Math was told that they could officially name the park and that there needed to be a temporary name to designate the park, and the county gave it a name, Middletown Square Park. We made it clear that we did not want a sign at the park stating Middletown Square Park as it was temporary. On May 12, 2006, Math voted for park names. The names to choose from were Middletown Library Park, Middletown Square Park, and Middletown Gateway Park. Middletown Gateway Park received the most votes. You each represent communities in your districts and are aware that each has a distinct identity, personality, and history. Middletown is no different. Middletown Gateway Park speaks to Middletown and what the park and facilities stand for in our community. Gateway to Learning Library, Gateway to Senior Services, Senior Center, and Gateway to Community, weekly farmers markets, as well as known by community members as Middletown being the gateway to Lake County. Historically, Middletown has been known as the gateway to Lake County, as Highway 29 goes through Middletown. Attached are articles from the Weekly Calistogan dated May 1922, Press Democrat, July 1952 and 1958, and the Oakland Tribune, June 1965, referring to Middletown as the gateway to Lake County. See attached. Attached is a picture of a billboard that was located south of town in the 70s and early to mid-80s, located on what is now the Adventist Health Clinic property, stating, "Welcome to Middletown, the gateway to Lake County." When the billboard existed, the property had a building used to distribute information on Lake County, with volunteers manning it. The property was sold to Adventist House in the early to mid-80s, and the billboard was removed. Attached is a picture of an article from LakeCounty.com dated 2016, referring to Middletown as the gateway to Lake County. Attached is a picture of a banner that is currently on the fence of the park, calling it Library Park, advertising the community farmers market. The name of the park is not clear to the Middletown community. I'm requesting that the Board of Supervisors honor the vote made at the May meeting and vote in favor of renaming the park Middletown Gateway Park to reflect personality, identity, and history of Middletown.
Thank you. That's all right. We did get the email last night as well. Next.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I do think the process needs to be followed as far as the notice, but I would like to point out that the vote, I had been attending many of the math meetings, and one of the things to please keep in mind is that math works differently than other advisory councils, and that everybody there votes. And as was mentioned, this has been going on for a while. It's always been a topic. I know they spent quite a bit of time polling the community to try to get suggestions for names. They then, I think, 3 meetings just this year, and the vote wasn't just 5 people. There was, again, maybe 20, 30, 40 people that participated in the decision to recommend their current, the recommendation now for Gateway Park. I think she provided a good historical background as to why Gateway Park would be appropriate. But I do agree that you need to have it publicly noticed and things like that. But I just want to point out, it's not like 5 people, just decided to name the park. They went through quite a bit of public activity. Maybe it doesn't meet the needs of the county, but it wasn't something that happened overnight. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room?
Hi, Roberta McIntyre, Hidden Valley Lake. I think I was at a couple or a few of those meetings where this was addressed at the MAC. And given that this isn't currently right here a resolution to name the park, it's to start the official process of, getting the park named. And given that the county's policy is to go through a very robust process of inviting further input, et cetera, I think it's a good idea. I think I voted for Gateway Park when I was there, when he voted on it. But I think that moving forward with the process, given also that it's a nominal fee to do this, I think it would be a good idea to show particularly the Middletown Area Town Hall, MAC, that the county is taking into consideration their thoughts, their opinions, et cetera, and taking action on that. I think it'll go a long ways to solidify the relationship between the Board of Supervisors and this particular Municipal Advisory Council. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the room? Not seeing anyone. Anyone online? Guest, go ahead and identify yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Angela Emerald. In regards to the naming of the Gateway Park, and I'm not opposed to the name, I just wanted to bring up that since the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, we have several references to gateway areas into Lake County now, especially after the creation of the Barry S. Snow Mountain National Monument. So we're not the only ones that advertise gateway in Lake County. It's advertised at Department of the Interior, BLM. So I just wanted you guys to take that into consideration. The other thing is that while there is, it was voted on by math, just for your reference, at the Middletown Area Town Hall, it is a vote of all members in attendance. And those members are not restricted to members that live in the area. So they could have been members that don't live in the area that because they're in attendance, they get to vote. So just a couple things to take into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I correct that real quick?
Go ahead.
The voting members have to live within the fire boundaries, so they have to be a member of, other people can attend, but they can't vote. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have anyone else online? No. Then I'm going to close public comment and bring it back to the board. Director Ewing, did you have?
Yes, if you
Yeah.
don't mind me adding. I think it's unfortunate that the Public Works Department or Public Services at the time was not involved with it. We certainly could have done that public outreach prior to coming to your board here. So I think in the future, if there's another advisory committee that is my understanding, is advisory to your board, staff can certainly be a part, and I would suggest should be a part of that process, so that we could come to your board in a cohesive manner, where that outreach has been completed, and it's not in silos. the organization, your organization, the Public Works Department that oversees parks, I think it's important that we be included along the way. So, thank you.
Supervisor Owen.
Yeah, Linda, I'm going to refer to Linda. Lars, you probably don't remember it, and it was probably, but they had asked you when you were at one of their meetings about, it was actually Linda that had asked you about renaming it, and I think that they misconstrued what was stated there because they asked if they could, and you had mentioned, yeah, and I can't remember the whole conversation. I was there. But so they kind of took the ball and run because they didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I was a new supervisor. So when you had responded to her question, they thought this was the proper course.
Understood. Okay, fair enough. And I appreciate that. And yeah, by no means was I trying to place blame.
No, it was just lack of knowledge
right,
on the procedures.
Yeah, but in the 10 years that I'd been with Public Services, I didn't have any recollection of this coming up. Nevertheless, it clearly did, and so
and I think it was just a miscommunication when she had asked, and it was actually Linda that asked you during public input on when you were there at one point, and that's what took place. And so, not knowing any better.
Absolutely, yeah, we can move ahead with that at your board's discretion.
Yes, Supervisor Sabatier.
Yeah, I just, I guess a global statement. I really appreciate that we had a presentation not too long ago from the, I think it was just Worth, but I just appreciate that we've been getting a little bit more engagement coming all the way to the Board of Supervisors from the municipal advisory councils. I think they're there for a purpose. They are there to actually represent those communities. Now, I don't want to say that we should bypass the public comment or bypass more interaction with the public. But I think that there's a chance, I'm just going to say, if I was requesting this, I would want to take part in wanting to table and offer to get surveys from the community. And maybe this is where math can really be a way to get people to know who math is, get more people to engage with math, and also be the ones that take time to do the tabling. I'm not worried about the cost that this will be. That's not my concern. It's more of how do we best approach it? Somebody who was given orders to, here, please answer this question, or somebody who's really already passionate about the change. And so I just think it's an opportunity for math to be more engaged with the community, be out there, and then bring back that information, as long as maybe go through an approval process of this is how you survey, or this is the information we're looking to gather. I just wanted to put it out there, and I really appreciate the engagement that is coming all the way to the Board of Supervisors from our municipal advisory councils, because that's what they're for.
Vice Chair?
Yeah, and I appreciate this being initiated in math. That's what our MACs are for. I would like to see the tabling done by county staff and make sure that we're doing it the way that we've done it in all the other parks and moving it forward. And if there's a way to combine with the other park outreach just for efficiencies, I would be in support of that as well.
I appreciate the fact that Supervisor Pyska brought up kind of going over the names on both parks so that we're making best use of our time. I was going to ask for your lead on how we can do it legally, and can we include the math group, as was mentioned too, as part of that process.
Yeah, well, what I would say, the legally word scares me to answer, but I will suggest that county staff.
I was looking for your leadership here.
Yeah, we'll do that, and I think it's county staff in collaboration with math and volunteers. Let's get get the word out there as much as possible through as many avenues as possible, so that we get as much input as possible.
And what this was for direction in the first place.
Right.
So that's our. I would like to ask that we make that direction.
Yeah, and I'm happy with that direction. And just, the Cobb Park, we've been having these for, 4 years or something. We don't have a name, so maybe we should bring that into the conversation too. But it's going, noticing that it's going to be a conversation at the Cobb Area Council, but it's also showing up at the Black Bear Cobbler Festival and other places, so that there is broad participation. And I really think that's, to capture as much public input, a great practice.
All right. Anything else, or are
Nope.
we ready for action?
Yeah, action. I would like to, do we need to table it then, and while we take this process?
No,
Just direction?
Just
we can
direction?
provide direction.
To initiate direction with, Lars to go ahead and move forward with the noticing of the park name.
If I could suggest, maybe it would be direction to staff to initiate a public outreach campaign that would then culminate with a public noticing once the public outreach, we receive enough outreach, enough input that we feel that there's a name rising to the top.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I apologize. Maybe I'm the one feeling left out. What other park are we talking about that might be renamed? I feel like I'm in the dark on
The
that one.
Sutter.
It's not a current county park. It's not even a current county property. It's actually, I believe it's the same property that was mentioned by Linda, owned by Sutter Health, just down the road from this park. So not a current county park. There's some discussions of that, being a potential, but it's not finalized.
Is it too early to combine the two, or?
Well, it's not too early to combine the two for public input. I would suggest that. But it helps the other park. It would help to ensure that we're, again, getting as much public input on the potential design of that other park. But there's a lot of other administrative and legal issues that need to be worked out there, such as the property rights and what that looks like.
Okay, I apologize. I heard it as a renaming rather than a new park. I don't know if that can be added in the direction to figure out what's the best way to make that an efficient process. If it happens to be one, that's good. If it happens to be both, I'm good with that. Just want to make sure to throw it in there so it's not just the initiation for the Middletown Square Park renaming.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Thank
All right, is that, any other questions on that direction?
No, I have the direction. I'm comfortable with the direction received. Yes.
All right, thank you. Then we'll conclude this item. And we're going to move on to our 6.7 10 a.m. item. This is a public hearing. We're going to be setting concurrently as the Clear Lake Keys CSA number 1, 2, 6, 13, 20, and 21 Board of Supervisors, the Kelseyville County Waterworks District number 3, and the Lake County Sanitation District Board of Directors. Consideration of A, resolution confirming collections of annual lighting fees, and B, resolution confirming collections of delinquent water fees, C, resolution confirming collections of delinquent water and sewer fees, and D, a resolution of delinquent sewer fees for Lake County Sanitation District. And I'll turn it over to our director, Robin Bourret.
Good morning. This item before you is our annual tax roll item for our delinquent accounts. I have Jesse Salmeron and Cassie Benitez here to answer any specific questions about the dollar amounts and what's getting rolled. We've provided the list of APNs without names as previously requested, and these are over 9 months delinquent because this list also includes those that have already come in and started paying, and so the actual tax roll date is a little ways away, and so it will only be those that are currently delinquent at that time. So some of this on the list may go away. So do you have any questions?
Go ahead, Supervisor Sabatier.
Yeah, just a question, since on the resolution, it requires us to state how many protests were received. Do you have a number that you have received for the Kelseyville, the sewer, water, and lighting?
They would be protesting here. We have received
There
nothing.
would be no submissions prior to that? It would
We
only
have
be-
not. We have no submissions prior.
Right.
We would say 0. Do we need to put that in our resolution as far as the amount of protests received? Because there's a blank spot that states that that's what we've received.
Go ahead, County Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So at the time when your board adopts, should your board decide to adopt these resolutions for each of them, at the time of the adoption, it should be noted, because it's a blank portion, that blank portion should be filled out in reference to the recitals, making reference to the number of objections and protests.
And just a comment to the board, I guess a comment to Director Bore. Thank you for the information that you provided me that I requested. I can't say that it's trending because I only looked at last year versus this year, but the increase in delinquencies is slightly concerning. It looks like it's an increase of maybe 40%. It was about 750,000 last year, and it's about 1 million this year. So that difference is a large increase. I think we need to pay attention to those things. What I'm hoping is it's to better understand part of the information I'm hoping to get later, which is how much of these from the tax roll are getting paid, because then that makes us whole. So maybe some people are abusing the system, wanting to get it on their tax roll, because then it looks like they're paying taxes. I know some people play that game that is making our jobs just a little bit more difficult. But I think it's just something we should be paying attention to, just because it is growing and it does have impacts.
Well, and what was actually rolled last year is not the amount that we brought to the board. So, there is those delinquencies that were paid. So we don't have apples to compare at this point. And then again, we're waiting on what you alluded to. We haven't received the tax payments for the delinquencies that were rolled last year. And there are a significant amount of people in the county that want their water and sewer bills to be rolled on their tax roll. And so Cassie has a breakdown if anybody wanted to know by district or anything like that, any big increases, anything related to that. We do an analysis based on each district. Each district has to pay a minimum $175 plus 25 cents per parcel to put them on the tax roll. So in some instances, it has not been beneficial for us to put stuff on the tax roll because it cost us more to put them on the tax roll than the amount of delinquencies. So we do that analysis and not incur additional costs when not necessary.
All right. Anything else from the board? I'll go ahead and open it up to the public. Is there anyone in the room? Not seeing anyone online? No. I'll close public comment and bring it back to the board for action. Do we have to handle these one by one?
Yeah, can you help with the motions?
Yeah, go ahead, County Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I could walk your board through with your board sitting in as three distinct entities. I could walk your board through for each resolution. So as the County of Lake Board of Supervisors, first offer would be to offer the resolution confirming collection of delinquent water fees in county service areas, CSA numbers 2, 6, 13, 20, and 21.
Was
I'll offer.
0 protests.
Yeah, 0
Was
protests.
0
With
protests.
0 protests received.
I'll offer the resolution.
Resolution's been offered.
Supervisor Owen. Supervisor Sabatier.
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall.
Yes.
Supervisor Pyska.
Yes.
And Supervisor Rasmussen.
Aye. That carries 5-0. Go ahead.
Right. And also as County of Lake Board of Supervisors, offer the resolution confirming collection of annual lighting fees in county service area number 1 with noting 0 protest.
I'll offer the resolution.
Resolution's been offered.
Supervisor Owen. Supervisor Sabatier.
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall.
Yes.
Supervisor Pyska.
Yes.
And Supervisor Rasmussen.
Aye. That carries 5-0. Go ahead.
Next, sitting in as Board of Directors of the Lake County Sanitation District, this would be the offering the resolution confirming collection of delinquent sewer fees in Lake County Sanitation District, noting 0 protest.
Offer the resolution.
Resolution's been offered.
Director Owen. Director Sabatier.
Aye.
Director Crandall.
Yes.
Director Pyska.
Yes.
And Director Rasmussen.
Aye. That carries 5-0. Go ahead.
And then now, lastly, sitting in as the Board of Directors of Kelseyville County Waterworks District Number 3. This would be the offering the resolution confirming collection of delinquent charges for services rendered in Kelseyville County Waterworks District Number 3, noting 0 protest.
Offer the resolution.
Resolution's been offered.
Director Owen, Director Sabatier,
Aye.
Director Crandall,
Yes.
Director Pyska,
Yes.
and Director Rasmussen.
Aye. That also carries 5-0, and that concludes that item. Thank you. Next, we're going to move on to our 6.8, 10:30 item. This is a public hearing, consideration of an ordinance amending section 19-17.2 of the ordinance code of the County of Lake for the removal of a stop sign on 2nd Street and the placement of a stop sign on Middle Creek Road in Upper Lake. And I'll turn it over to our Public Works Director, Mr. Ewing.
All right. Good morning, Lars Ewing, Public Works Director. As Chair Rasmussen indicated, your board is considering amending the county code through ordinance to place a stop sign where there currently is not a sign, and also at the same time removing a stop sign so that it would no longer be in place. That we're talking about a singular intersection. There is an exhibit included with your board's agenda that has a map. There's a star that brings your attention to where we're talking about. It is a three-way intersection. Middle Creek Road coming southbound intersects with essentially at a T with 2nd Street. Currently, there's a stop sign on 2nd Street heading westbound at Middle Creek. So that three-way intersection, there's one stop sign, 2nd Street heading westbound. A request came to the Public Works Department to consider adjustments there, and the recommendation was to change the stop location to Middle Creek Road intersecting with 2nd Street. The amendment, the resolution, historically Lake County, the vehicle code, state vehicle code allows for enforcement and the placement of stop signs by either resolution or ordinance. Lake County has historically done that by ordinance, which is why we prepared. Actually, it might have been by resolution. This one, no, by ordinance. So the ordinance does two things. It recommends the removal of the existing ordinance on that has the stop sign on 2nd Street and replaces it, subsection ON, replaces it with a stop sign heading southbound on Middle Creek Road. So I'll end there and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Supervisor Crandall.
Yes, thank you for bringing this forward. I know the West Region Town Hall has been talking about this for quite some time. One thing I just wanted to make sure and just ask for public discussion is I know that the group had really been set on having like a three-way stop. I just wanted to see and have maybe you explain what the concept is and why it went that route.
Yeah, the what we call warrants in the engineering world, it just didn't hit the warrants for stop. When you add too many stop signs, oftentimes it can become unenforceable. So we looked at the best arrangement for that intersection. There's certainly some subjectivity to that, but when we looked at where is the prevailing traffic, we're talking about one road, 2nd Street, heading eastbound and westbound, and that's really the main route of travel. And to have a road, 2nd Street, that comes in at an intersection with that, commonly people would expect that. So from engineering principles, it seemed to apply that a singular stop sign was merited.
Is there a way, last question, because I know it's going to be a change that the community may, be used, how people get used to the same kind of flow. Is there something that we can do to enhance, like maybe for the first month, or I don't know. I'm just throwing some things out there so there isn't an accident because of just habit.
Yes.
I don't know if lighting the sign is a big deal or if like putting out orange, signs or anything until people get used to it. I don't know. I'm just seeing if there is a method for that.
Yeah, and I apologize. I didn't address that as a part of this, but the intent is to do a number of things. On 2nd Street, where there will be a stop sign, on Middle Creek heading south, where there would be a stop sign where there currently is not one. That's where the most impactful noticing will occur. A couple of things, a changeable message signboard in the weeks leading up to it, along with likely a permanent advance stop warning sign saying that there'd be a stop ahead, along with changed traffic conditions ahead. We would also couple that with some modifications to the intersection itself to ensure that we have visibility, but it also would include the stop sign. There's a municipal uniform traffic control device that we have to follow. It allows for temporary, essentially highlighting of a stop sign. It can be by red flags, or you've seen before where they're flashing. So we're considering all the above. On 2nd Street, where there would not be a stop sign, it's not as critical because it's not as though they're just going to continue along, but we would include notification there as well. So that's on site. We would also look to do some public outreach to ensure that the public is aware around there. Probably most important, and maybe I shouldn't say most, but certainly a very important stakeholder would be the school district. So we would want to ensure that they would be a partner in putting the word out.
Thanks, Lars.
All right.
Anybody else from the board? No? I'll open it up to the public. Is there anybody in the room?
My name's Tim Chiara. I'm a member of the Western Region Town Hall. We have been discussing this for quite a while. And so basically, as I understand it now, the existing stop sign that's on 2nd Street will be removed, and a new stop sign will be put on Middle Creek going south. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I can foresee a certain amount of confusion from these changes, but it's probably a necessary situation that we'll just have to work through. And I know that Upper Lake has had concerns about traffic around the schools and on 2nd Street, and that was sort of exacerbated by the Middle Creek coming into 2nd Street there, and a lot of people were concerned, and there have been sort of, I can't say that I know that there have been accidents, but I certainly heard that that's the case. And I suppose when I heard Lars talking about removing one and putting the other there, I thought, well, it would. I guess you don't want to have a situation where you have a four-way stop. You have four-way stop signs. That's probably a little extreme, but we'll just have to go with the best that we can do and see how it works out. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. Anyone else in the room? Anyone online? Go ahead.
Good morning, supervisors. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. This is Danny Wynn. I'm a Lakeport resident. I've spoken with Worth members about this, and I also don't think some of their leadership had an understanding that there was going to be a removal of the stop sign. I'd like to validate EJ's observation that the understanding was that we would move to more stop signs at this intersection. I also heard engineering principles cited, but they're not included in the agenda item. There's no attachments for anything like that. There's 3 ways to reliably slow down cars, and they're deflection, constriction, and friction. This doesn't do any of those 3. Deflection is like speed humps, speed tables, mini traffic circles. Constriction is lane narrowing, and things like curb extensions, maybe crosswalks. And friction is your trees, flex posts, painted intersections. If this is an exercise on our own autonomy on our streets, we have the ability to do that. There are many other jurisdictions in California that do a lot less and do a lot less through ordinances and a lot more through getting their hands dirty. We can do a lot more at this intersection. And while you do have a lot of accidents and I'm sure a lot of frustrations, during pickup and drop off, the most severe and fatal crashes happen during off-peak hours. So that's in the early mornings or late evenings when speeds are higher because there's not traffic constricting people. If you want to go ahead and try moving the stop sign, go right ahead. It's a good exercise in autonomy over our own roads, but we actually have far more freedom on our ability to manipulate our intersections and roadways for safety, especially next to a school. So if you do go ahead and accept to remove the stop sign and move it, again, it's a good exercise in our autonomy, but I really don't think it's going to make a difference in some of the frustrations that the community is feeling at this intersection. And I would like to see some of the engineering principles cited, some of the traffic studies. A lot of the accidents that happen in our county are hit object crashes that don't get reported into the traffic injury management system. So those are just some things for you to consider, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else? Lisa Marie, if you could identify yourself, you have 3 minutes. Lisa, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Lisa Marie Benavides. I am also a member of the Worth, and I live in Upper Lake. I actually take that intersection every single day, several times a day. First, I just want to say thank you to Lars and EJ for getting this on the agenda. I also want to acknowledge that while we were asking for a 3-point stop, Lars, in his meeting at the Worth, did present this as a potential option. So I do want to just make sure we recognize that this was always on the table as one of the suggestions. It's not the primary one that we wanted, but as someone who takes that intersection every day, as the person who created the incident form to have community members report near accidents or accidents, I do think that this is going to make a huge change. 2nd Street, the stop sign that's currently on 2nd Street is not stopping many. And the Middle Creek free right turn is, in my opinion, a huge problem. So I think that this is a major step in the right direction. I think that it is a direct result of the community requesting our supervisor act on our behalf, and now he has, and the director Ewing has stepped into the role, hasn't been in there a long time, but has responded to this issue when, you know, we've been talking about it for several years and could get no traction on it. So I do just think that it's really important to say those things in our meeting, or in these meetings too, because while it's not the perfect outcome, it is an outcome that's directly a result of our public servants listening to the public that they serve. So I just wanted to make sure we called that out, and though just share that as someone who takes it every single day. I strongly believe that putting a stop sign on Middle Creek will prevent a lot of issues. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Guest.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Angela Emerald. Director Ewing, I will apologize ahead of time if you answered this when you were discussing some options that you would put in, letting people know that that there was going to be a stop sign being installed, warning signs, that kind of thing. Is there any option to put maybe like rumble strips or the little, I don't know what they're called, the little round circles that are something that people will feel on the road as they're approaching that intersection to let them know something's different? I don't know if you'd mentioned that before, but I just wanted to ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. And did you have a question, Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, I just, I can appreciate like the idea of just a straight shot for 2nd Street. I guess my question is to Supervisor Crandall, like, what problem are we solving here? Is it a lack of enforcement on that road where people run the stop sign? Because changing where the stop sign is, if there's no enhanced enforcement, people might still just run that other stop sign. So I'm not sure if that's But my concern, I guess, that I want to share is the direction of Middle Creek. It's at an angle, and right now, they just get to go right without stopping. Obviously, if they want to go left, they have to stop. But the people coming from the left-hand side, which is like an awkward angle because you're angled in a direction that's not easy to face the traffic coming to the right, now they're going to be forced to stop, and there's line of sight potential issues because typically you want to realign a road to have a 90-degree angle. At least that's some of the road work sessions that I've been to help alleviate some of these line of sight issues. Now we're stopping people who will be forced to have a line of sight issues rather than the others who are supposed to stop that don't have a line of sight issue. I'll be blunt. I think a miniature roundabout is really something I would love to see that forces people to engage in a way that yields and slows people down. But I'm happy to move forward, but I'm also seeing an issue with the road because of the angle in which it connects with 2nd Street. If we're talking about Elliott Street, Laguna Street, and League Street, League Street, those are perfect 90-degree or perpendicular angles that the streets hit each other at, which gives you perfect line of sight or better line of sight. Middle Creek, in my belief, probably has heavier traffic because of it going into the agricultural areas, and was given that ability to turn because of the line of sight. And so is there work that will be looked at to resolve the weird angle that Middle Creek hits 2nd Street? Or are we just expecting that traffic coming out of Middle Creek, which is probably heavier traffic, meaning larger vehicles because of the agriculture that it accesses? I don't want to say no, but I just want to share those thoughts.
Yeah, I'll answer that and maybe indirectly or directly address some of the comments that were made. I think first off, the skew there is not as extreme as the map may imply. The traffic volumes on 2nd Street are higher than Middle Creek. Middle Creek Road, and yes, there is an engineering evaluation. Did not include it in the agenda simply because there are a lot of behind-the-scenes evaluations and work that's done that are not included as a part of any agenda item. But I prepared the engineering evaluation. Would be happy to share that. As a part of that engineering evaluation, it included an assessment of traffic data and collision history, traffic volumes based on traffic counts that are readily available. 2nd Street carries almost 1,500 average daily traffic, and Middle Creek is about 1,000. So you can see that the prevailing traffic is on 2nd Street, and you're talking about a straight shot on 2nd Street. The driver assumption is that on a road that is straightforward, there's a road coming in at a T, but it carries less traffic than the road you're on. The expectation is that there would not be a stop sign there. So that factored in, as did collision history. One of the callers mentioned collision history. He also mentioned something called TIMS. The acronym is TIMS. For the last 7 years, there have been all of 3 reported accidents on 2nd Street. All of them were east of this intersection. So yes, those are reported accidents. Fender benders, so to speak, may not be reported, but if it was based strictly on accident history, this probably wouldn't merit making a change. But when we take a fresh look at it and we look at where's the prevailing traffic, in what direction are they traveling, and what is the condition, the intersection geometry, the recommendation that's presented here, I would certainly stand behind it.
Thank you.
Still like the little roundabout.
Go ahead, Supervisor.
Yeah, I think, and just thinking about this too, is right now, I think the stop sign is on the side where the school is going westbound, right? As of right now. And so that's also where a lot of the problems come with the school, because the school has, changed after the bond and all that. So you got more people going to the school. People always drop off their kids. So there's a stop there waiting for that turn right. I live in Lucerne, yes, but I travel that area quite frequently. And if I know it's 2 or 3 o'clock, just in looking at this, I'm going to take Mendenhall and not, and avoid school time, if that makes sense. But again, I do know this will make significant changes, because if they know to stop on coming southbound from Elk Mountain or Middle Creek, this will flow. It will flow a little more, and less people will be suppressing traffic at the school. A lot of people, there'll be a free flow, and people coming from Elk Mountain will have to stop and wait. So I don't know, I just threw that in there because I'm thinking about it from that point of view as someone who used to drop my kids off at school and all of that. Honestly, I would take Clover all the way around and then go out Mendenhall just to avoid all of that in general, and that was before the bond. So it's been a long time coming, at least for some sort of change. So glad to see it.
Vice Chair.
Yeah, I've had to do a lot of drop-offs at that school too. And we've been hearing this from the community members for quite a lot of years, so I'm glad that it's before us today.
Mr. Chair, if I
Yes.
could comment, the traffic calming, well, it wasn't, those words weren't mentioned, but there was a lot of discussion of potential implementation measures that are commonly termed traffic calming measures, be it a restriping, be it a mini roundabout. Would love to do that, but when we look at it with a fresh set of eyes, simply switching the stop sign is certainly a low-hanging fruit that we feel would be a good benefit, but absolutely looking into some options like that, and we will.
All right. I think we'd be ready for action.
All right. So with that, I'll offer the ordinance.
Ordinance
I'll
is-
offer the ordinance.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
With this being an ordinance, it would be subject to the general procedures of, at this stage, first reading of the ordinance, so I could walk your board through with the
Waiting on the
approval of.
first reading.
Right,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
when
Go
the
ahead.
board is ready, okay. So the first motion would be to move to approve the first reading of the ordinance to be read in title only.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries 5-0.
An ordinance amending section 19-17.2 of the ordinance code of the County of Lake for the removal of a stop sign on Second Street and the placement of a stop sign on Middle Creek Road in Upper Lake.
Go ahead.
And then the next motion would be a motion to approve that this draft ordinance be advanced to the next Board of Supervisors meeting for consideration and possible adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that carries 5-0. And that concludes this item. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Lars.
And next, we're going to move on to our 6.9 item, which I understand there's going to be a request to continue still. I'll read it out. That's consideration of a request for a hearing before the Board of Supervisors for code enforcement actions taken at 19355 South State Highway 29, Middletown, APN 014-270-02. The property owner Michael G. Burns, and this was continued from May 19th, 2026. And I understand you'll be requesting a continuance, Director?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to provide an update and a request.
Go ahead.
Larry Turner, Community Development Director, as was stated in the staff memo at the May 19th meeting, the board did continue this item for two reasons. One was to direct Mr. Burns to apply for a pre-application development meeting, which he has not done. And the second was for staff to work on a compliance agreement, which we have started doing, but we lack the experience to really pull that off. I've spoken with County Council regarding that matter, and I'll let Lloyd speak to County Council taking lead on that to assist us.
Okay. County Council?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just briefly, yes, our office is available to assist community development in the drafting of the compliance agreement. That will be part of the process.
Thank you. Anything further? And you have a question, Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, I get the request, but there was two requests. One, submit an application. one, do a compliance agreement. If there's no application, I guess I'm asking, why are we continuing?
The compliance agreement is for Mr. Burns to assist us into bringing that property into compliance. It is currently too large for our staff resources and our budget to handle. So we're going to need to work with Mr. Burns to clean that place up, even if he chooses not to go forward, which is the only thing I could understand would be his choice, since he has not filed for a pre-application development agreement in order to continue operating the business.
But I thought that was our agreement, that he would submit an application, so that would give us, I guess, a little bit of a skin in the game from the appellant, because this was an appeal on his abatement process. I feel like he hasn't met us in what our request was for the giving him 15 days to submit an application. I understand your needs for that, but I also feel like, are we extending his 15 days? I feel like he hasn't met it, so I feel we just say, we're done, let's abate the property, which I guess would give you the time to go through how do you get it into compliance, but I feel like we've missed a deadline and we should uphold what that deadline was. He has not submitted a pre-application, which is the start of the whole process, so.
Correct. By not submitting his pre-application, he is essentially telling this board he does not wish to continue as a business, which he wasn't sure about at the last hearing. So it would be understandable if the board just wanted us to go forward with working on a compliance agreement in order to abate this property without giving him the option to apply for a pre-application for a future continuance of this business.
Supervisor Owen.
I'm a little bit concerned that he may have had a little confusion on the deadline for filing the application. I know at one point when I spoke with him, he had mentioned maybe filing it on the other property next door to that, which I am not for operating there because it did not have the issues, and I am not for that. And I also do understand that we don't have the ability to abate that property. It is, but I've heard he's been making good progress. I would like to extend the application until I can talk to him and make sure he understands.
Staff has spoken both to Mr. Byrne and his attorney over the phone multiple times and in person.
And they
We have been very
understand.
clear.
And he understands he's supposed to file that application, or he's in.
The board did give him that direction to his face at the last hearing, as well as the 15-day timeline.
Okay.
Yeah, I recall we were being very clear on that at this meeting. And how many days is it now? It was a 15.
Last time was May 19th was the last.
So
So
we're
it's been
way,
almost a month.
way over. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just, because I guess what I'm looking for is, I don't want to continue anything. You continue doing what your department is supposed to do to rectify the issues on that property, but I don't feel we need to do a continuance. We have failed to meet what was requested of us. I'm ready to move forward.
Yeah.
Staff is ready to move forward with county council's assistance to develop that compliance agreement in cooperation with Mr. Burns and his representative.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sad that it didn't happen.
Yeah, I think the way I understand it, if we're just giving a direction to move forward with that agreement so we can get this abatement going.
Yep.
That's, I think that.
I'm not aware of a board's requirement to approve a compliance agreement. I would defer that to county council, but if the board just wants us to go forward, I'm sure we can work that agreement out with county council's assistance.
That's fine too.
And then we need not bring this back
Yeah,
to the board.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
That's where I am.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree.
Yeah, so there's consensus there, so. Did you have something to add right now, or I need to open it to the public too? But I'll go ahead and open it to the public. Is there anyone in the room who wishes to speak? Is there anyone online? No? I'll close public comment and bring it back to the board. Sound like we have consensus for you just to move forward and it's not coming back to us.
So,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, if I may. So with this being still a public hearing, with your boards, it sounds like, it appears your board is not, is leaning towards not providing or granting or approving a continuance of this public hearing. It is still a public hearing on a nuisance abatement, so that one option for your board would be to still, as part of the nuisance abatement hearing, uphold the nuisance notice that was provided to the property owner prescribing the requirements and the completion of such abatement. That's the standard language for upholding the nuisance, along with the direction to staff to reach out and coordinate a potential compliance agreement with the property owner. Without that action, there would still be a pending public hearing without your to your board. So it would the other option would be to continue the hearing for staff to come back to your board, which doesn't sound like your board is taking that.
And he was noticed about today's item.
Who requested that it be pulled? Because I had heard yesterday from Stephen that it may be pulled. There was discussion of pulling this item.
I'm not aware of that discussion.
Well, I was advised this morning that there was going to be a request to not hear this item, so I
You
think
mean to
that's the...
continue it or pull it?
To pull it off to do it later.
I'm not aware of that request. Our department is not aware of that request.
That's what was given to me by the admin office, so...
Yeah.
That's why...
I thought it was in the memo.
Mm.
Doesn't the action say continue? Yeah, it says continuance of the matter to a future date and time certain, so
That was with our understanding that we needed additional work on the compliance agreement.
Okay, so it came from the department that they're needing more
Correct.
time. Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
we were
didn't,
just giving
I
you an
didn't reach out
update
to him
today.
because I thought it was being pulled, is what I'm saying.
When it was continued at a time and date certain, he was here to hear that.
Right, I just thought it was it was going to be moved from today.
So what I'd be concerned about now is if he thought it was going to be continued and didn't show up,
Yeah,
if he was confused.
because it sounds.
I don't think he was confused about his requirement to apply for a pre-application
Yeah.
development meeting.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just, if paperwork said it was going to be continued, then maybe he thought we weren't going to hear anything. Go ahead.
I can understand that perspective. I also think that being present, anytime something is about you on our agenda, that you should be here. We gave him 15 days. This is way past the 15 days. I don't want to waste any more time on this. I don't want to see this coming back to us unless there's a need for the compliance agreement that needs to come back to us. But if it doesn't, then I'm happy to move on and not see this again.
Lloyd, would we get in trouble by moving forward since there was some information out there that multiple people seen that it was going to be continued to time certain?
If I may,
Go ahead,
Mr. Chair.
please.
So the board memo does make reference in its contents, staff requesting a continuance to a date and time certain, a continuance of this hearing. The actual subject line of the board item still reiterates the consideration of request for hearing before the Board of Supervisors for code enforcement actions taken at this property. So it is still a continuation from the May date of this public hearing for your board to decide. Your board always has the option to continue this per the request from staff based on the references made in the board memo. But with this still being a public hearing, your board may also just proceed with not not approving the continuance and moving forward with a decision on the nuisance abatement.
And hearing that, I'd be comfortable moving forward today.
Yeah, me too.
So we're ready for action. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So if your board is willing to consider it, I do have the motion language, and it would be the motion to uphold the nuisance notice with the prescribing the requirements and completion of such abatement, and that would be to abate the health and safety violations on the property as stated within the notice of nuisance violations as it relates to this property, with further direction to staff to coordinate a potential compliance agreement with the property owner as part of your board's approval of upholding the notice of nuisance abatement.
So offered.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that carries 5-0. concludes this item.
Chair, do you mind
Go
if I
ahead.
ask one more
Yeah.
question? There was some issues of unsheltered folks that were in the area. Do you know if that's been dealt with, or is that still an active situation?
Mr. Burns, Marcus Beltramo, Manager Code Enforcement Division. Mr. Burns has given us an update that he's gotten majority of them off the property. He's having an issue with a few remaining individuals, but he said he's worked out a resolution to get them off. And that conversation happened about a week ago.
Okay. Can you keep me posted, please?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to our 11:05 item, which is sitting as the Lake County Board of Supervisors, consideration of the proposed county capital improvement plan for fiscal year 26-27 through fiscal year 29-30, and B, setting as the Lake Osan Board of Directors consideration of the proposed Lake Osan capital improvement plan for fiscal year 26-27 through 29-30, and we have our Deputy Administrative Officer, Mr. Wickelman, here to present this.
Good morning, Board. Ben Rickelman, Deputy County Administrative Officer with the county. I'm here with two CIPs. Back in May 12th, I came to the board with a county CIP, and the directions were to separate the Lake Osan projects out. So there is now two CIPs presented, one that is county projects and one that is Lake Osan. So this is fairly close to what was presented back in May, just that separation out. There are now 17 projects in the Lake Osan CIP. There are 6 projects that are listed both in the county and Lake Osan CIPs. For those projects, the project sheet for the particular CIP has the funding amount tied to either the county or Lake Osan. So similar to before, this is just a breakdown of the functional areas, how the county CIP is organized. We have transportation, facilities, and utilities. And then another change from the May version is we took out the FY 25-26. So this is now just 4 fiscal years, 26-27 through 29-30. For transportation, around 117 million. Roads, bridges, and airports. And just to emphasize again, this is a planning document at the moment. This isn't a budget document. So the only committed spending is the Armory project. Everything else is conditioned on future budget processes. The geographic distribution of spending, a lot of this is driven just from the nexus of county-owned facilities in District 4 here in Lakeport, and then also the Soda Bay project, Soda Bay Road. Again, so now there's a new CIP specifically with Lake Osan that has about 11 million worth of projects, 17 projects. These are the largest Lake Osan investments within the CIP. And then going forward, this is high level how the CIPs will be assembled in the future. So working with departments near the end of the calendar year to assemble projects, and then integrating with the budget process. So this is considered when that is also occurring. And that's all I have at the moment. Happy to take questions.
Hey, go ahead, Supervisor Crandall.
Yes, this is for both A and B, or am I waiting for?
Oh, yeah, you can,
Just go ahead.
you have a question? Or?
Just in general, like I'm seeing through the whole process, appreciating that I know that this is one of the first, and we're separating these two. I think when we talk about the timing, I think it's important to consider, in general, the safety needs for specific projects. I know we're looking at other things, but I think the safety in the situations where there's like one egress, ingress type of thing to be, considered highly.
Yeah, and I think going forward, having a more formal matrix on prioritization of projects and consideration is something the county will be working on. I know department directors took that into account when thinking those projects, but having a more formalized setup and safety would be at the top or near the top.
Okay. Any other questions right now? No, go ahead go ahead.
Just a brief comment. Thank you for doing the separation. While I have specific concerns or issues, I've already stated those issues in the past, but appreciate the work that it took to separate it. I think that will make life easier, as the action that we took earlier today will simplify that process.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and open it to the public. Do we have anyone in the room? Not seeing any in the room. Anything online? Sterling, go ahead.
Yes. So I have a couple questions. I did look through this about the fourth floor business fix capital improvements, the fourth floor for the courthouse, and the money that we're spending in capital improvements on that. There's a line that does not include I believe the construction part. Are we going to find out what that is publicly, or is that going to be behind like closed doors? Then also with EJ's concern, I see that I guess the word would be delegating or putting these funds into some capital improvements that are, it might sound bad, but more for comfort than it is for safety. I have been here multiple times about the Old Long Valley Bridge, the ingress and egress. We only have one way in, one way out. There's only $10,000 allocated to that for the next 5 years. So my question is when are we going to start funneling money into that to where we can start building that up and going into the next phases? Also with the Old Long Valley Bridge, it says basically to buy some of the property from the property owner. It's saying around, I believe, 200 something thousand. If you guys can clarify that for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else online? Okay, I'll close public comment. Did you have an answer on what she asked about?
I would clarify with Director Ewing about, because all those projects are under his direction. I know he's spoken to a few of those. Regarding the fourth floor, I know funds still need to be identified for construction, and that hasn't been agreed upon yet. This is just a planning document, but they want to be conservative if the project isn't fully fleshed out yet. They're not going to put it in the project sheet. And then for the other ones, I would leave that to Director Ewing.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Supervisor Sabatier.
I just want to add that this document doesn't approve the projects. It just identifies the projects, identifies the potential funding for the projects. All those things would still have to go through a very public process if above the procurement amount. So if it's above 50,000 or 100,000, depending on the type of procurement we're doing, these projects would still have to go to the Board of Supervisors for approval. The fourth floor would have to come to the Board of Supervisors for approval, because that will be above and beyond the $100,000.
Yes, thank you. Anything else? Are we ready for action? I think we need a motion to approve.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the capital improvement plan for fiscal year 26, 27 through fiscal year 29, 30.
I have a motion.
And that would be as the County Board of Supervisors?
Yes.
It says, yeah, the county capital improvement plan.
Yeah, for the county.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries 5-0.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the Lake Osan capital improvement plan for fiscal year 26, 27 through fiscal year 29, 30.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that carries 5-0. And I believe that concludes all of our timed items. So I'm going to jump over so we have time to item 7.2, which is, what's that? Did I miss one?
They're just in the afternoon.
Those are afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the timed items that we can do.
7-2?
Yeah, so I'm doing 7.2 now, which is consideration of the following advisory board appointments. First is the Behavioral Health Advisory Board. Second will be the Middletown Cemetery District. We have one application, Simone Tatum for Behavioral Health, and Zoe Brasisco. Not sure if I'm saying that right.
Yes, you are.
I sat on the Behavioral Health Advisory Board. I can tell you Simone's been on the board, so this is a reappointment. She's been a good member. I have no concern there. Anything you want to offer?
Nope, Zoe's been on the board, it's just a reappointment.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to comment on these? Not seeing any in the room, nothing online. I'll bring it back to the board for action. Somebody want to make a motion on the behavioral health?
Move to approve Simone Tatum to the Behavioral Health Advisory Board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that carries 5-0.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Zoe Brasisco for the Middletown Cemetery Board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that carries 5-0. And we'll go on to supervisor reports. Anybody ready to start? We got there quick today. Go ahead, Supervisor.
Sure, I'll be brief. Worked a lot with staff. I do want to thank all of those that were helping with this. County Council, major part in bringing all the Lake Coast Sand stuff to the Board of Supervisors today. I am certain that Stephen Carter was a part of it, but I know Susan Parker was definitely in the front lines, meeting with us at all times when we met with the City of Clear Lake. Supervisor Owen, thank you as well. And just, I hope I'm not missing anybody, but that was the core group at this moment in time. But I know there was a lot of conversations that were required in order to get everything on the board agenda, and I'm just thankful for that so that we can move forward with that very long conversation that we've been having with the City of Clear Lake. So looking forward to that moving forward, and thankful for the board's action as well. I did hear, and I'm just saying this to try and add a little bit of pressure, we finally got approval from the Housing and Community Development at the state of California to utilize the funds that we had already had already been approved for, but now we can access the funds from HCD so we can move forward with the LG Sonic. The timing is not perfect, but there is no better time than today than to be able to move forward. So looking forward to figuring out what that deployment date looked like. It was supposed to be earlier in June. Hopefully it'll be done before the end of July. If not, early part of August. I'll have to figure out what those dates are, but that is coming forward. I will be leaving as well tomorrow to go to New Orleans for the NACO conference. So I will be back on late Monday night, probably early Tuesday morning, and be back here. And then another piece that I'm working on is, I think I had mentioned it before, working on veteran housing through the COC and some other groups in the city of Clear Lake. We did get the appraisal of the property, which was a whole lot less than what I had anticipated. And so we're off on negotiations, and hopefully within the next 45 days, which is the deadline I kind of set for ourselves, that we will be able to submit the application to Home Key Plus at the state of California in order to try to get the funding we need to start moving forward with that development. So that is what I have for you today.
Thank you. Supervisor Hahn, do you want?
I haven't finished my calendar, but tomorrow I do have Hidden Valley Ladies Luncheon and a dentist appointment, and I haven't gotten beyond there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Last week, I had several meetings with constituents, several committee meetings. Our BVAC meeting was canceled. I went to the Wine Grape Commission dinner, and Fire Safe Council meeting, a lot of advocacy meetings around budget overview and AB 2494 follow-ups. And then, let's see, Friday, another site visit and another caucus briefing. And to prepare for the conference this week in New Orleans. And then Sunday, there was the Crusher Cup at Boggs. We had a big mountain bike race, really well attended. And then I went down to Station 60 in Middletown for the push-in of the new water tender. And that's it.
Go ahead, Supervisor Crandall.
Yes. I guess I won't talk about that because I know it was a campaign event, but so I won't report out on what I did last week. Let's see. Last night, actually, there was a Central Region Town Hall meeting where Cal Water had talked about some of their initiatives coming forward, and then I just wanted to send out appreciation to Director Ipadier for coming out on short notice to the Central Region Town Hall meeting last night. It was very, they asked and put him on the agenda. I'm not sure if he was aware, but when I touched base with him, he attended, so I was appreciative on that. Tomorrow I have a West Region Town Hall at 5:30. Thursday, the TIPO meeting at 1 p.m. The Friday, I'm going to be doing calls and catch up on a lot of calls that I have, and then back here on Monday with the CAO meeting. I need to make one because yesterday I didn't have mine on my own behalf. But and then risk reduction at 3 p.m. And then back here on Tuesday next week.
Thank you. And Supervisor Hahn, since I called on you before you were ready, did you have anything else?
No, I'm
here to check back in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, I went to Animal Control Advisory last week with Supervisor Owen, numerous community events. I saw that Supervisor Spatier participated in helping with Simple Gesture over the weekend, so I appreciate that. I heard it was a very successful event countywide. There's an open house at Vet Connect tomorrow, I believe. I'm going to try to stop at that. On Thursday, Sutter's got an event for some of their expansion that I'm going to go to. I have law library meeting, and then later this week a meeting with admin staff on some work on the BOS rules that we'll be talking about later this year when we have our special meeting. And that's it for me. I don't believe we have anything else except for closed and 1 p.m. timed items, so we're going to go to lunch and come back at 1 o'clock.